Hi everyone, it's Mary with a passion for paper. Today's video, we're going to be making some ballerina themed scrappy notepads. And if you've been following my channel at all, you'll know that I'm working on a ballerina neutral, tall, skinny journal right now. And I'm in the process of doing a few last minute items. It's almost done. But before we start, I'd like to share with you some brand new additions to my Etsy shop, which is linked below, a passion for paper shop. So these, I have put together some sets of gorgeously grungy coffee and tea dyed paper strips that I use to make my scrappy notepads. And I do have one that I have started here, and we'll finish that and make a couple more in today's video. So these are available in my shop if you'd like to go take a look. Just wanted to show you, I have batches of 20, and they're approximately just under 3 inches all the way up to 4, and then the length is around 7.5 to I think 8 or 8.5. But these are just wonderful little packs. They're all just a variety of coffee dyed papers, very grungy, some with torn edges, some are ripped with a ruler, and some are cut. So those packs are available. The other cool thing I have added are little packs of just an assortment of these little translucent envelopes. And I love the fact that these are see-through. So you can pop something in there and put it into your journal and be able to see right through. So these are now also in my shop. And there's an assortment, and you get a few of all 3 of these cute little bags. I love the size of these. They're very small. You can put little tags in there, and these are also fun because they have this doily shape imprint on the bottom. So that's another little set. And I found these beautiful vintage French postcards, which I was very excited about, and also these adorable little bags. So I've randomly selected 20 of these French vintage flashcards and popped them in these beautiful little bags, and these are also available in my shop. I've been so busy working on updating my shop because I am off this week. So that has been super fun. These, I wanted to show you the card on the front is the French in black writing, and on the back is the English in green writing, and they all have a cute little number. So these would be fun even to put in if you have a green journal with some green tones, or you can put them in this way, tuck them into a pocket, add them to ephemera. Just really fun little vintage French postcards. The other item that I've just added, this is the last one I'm going to share. Oh, there's my handwritten note. So we have scrappy notepad size of the ballerina, and the words Prima Ballerina, and some with the hand-torn edges. And then this beautiful book page, which I took out of a vintage ballerina book, and I love the saying. And I have this in the ballerina journal that I'm working on. That very night, I dreamed that I was a ballerina and spent my whole life dancing like a butterfly to the sounds of Tchaikovsky's lovely music. I love to remember that night. And so I folded this in my journal, and it's like, this is one page. Flip it over, that's the other page. And I either tore this off or folded it in, but this is included. You can see it has some gorgeously grungy elements on it. It's included here, and then also 10 sheets of gorgeously grungy coffee and tea dyed paper make up this set. So that was a fun new addition. I didn't have anything like that in my shop before, so I just wanted to give you guys a quick sneak peek. And then here's a little cluster I made for the ballerina journal, the little gathered sewing there on the back. And let's go ahead and get into finishing this one and making some new Scrappy Notepads with the Ballerina theme. So I have had, I've done other videos making Scrappy Notepads, and so you could check those out. I'll link them below. There's one on Christmas themed and then French themed. But I like to start out with these sheets of paper. And again, I'll give you some dimensions. This is probably the widest one I've used, and that is almost 4 inches by, it was probably 8.5, and then the little bit of shrinkage there when you dye it. So I would start with one of these as the base and fold down the top. Or you could also use this as the base. Let's see what I've used here. This one is just a plain piece of beautifully grungied coffee dyed paper as the base, and I always fold it over at the top, and I use these clips to kind of hold on to the papers while I'm working. So I'm going to go ahead and just fold this down. I always just eyeball it, but if you'd like a measurement, it is just under 1 inch. So maybe it's more than 1 inch and 7/5, 1.75. Measuring is not my forte. That's why I do it by eye. And you can see I've eyeballed these and they're almost exactly the same. Okay, so I'm going to use that as the bottom of one, and then I'm going to use this. So some of the edges are hand torn, some of the bottoms are hand torn, and some of them are not hand torn. So there's a variety. Now I think I'm going to put her in this one. And as I said before, I always work from the bottom to make sure there is a beautiful waterfall effect in the Scrappy Notepads. And so I just like to tuck all the papers inside this little folded over piece. It's just my own preferred way of doing it. I know not everyone does it that way, so I'm just sharing my view, my approach. Take what you like and leave the rest. And then I also want to bring in some vintage book page with these beautiful musical notes on them. And so I'm gonna just add that. Excuse me. There actually has been not great weather during this break, so I'm happy to be working inside my studio since I'm not missing any beautiful weather outside. In fact, yesterday it rained the entire day. I did not get my steps in, so in the evening I went over to the gym with my daughter and went on the treadmill so I could get my steps in. I'm part of one of those groups at work where we all log and track our steps. So that's been really motivating and helping me to get my steps in. So I'm glad I joined that. They track my steps on the phone through an app that I downloaded. Now see, I don't like how long and straight that edge is. Let me try going this way. Like that a lot better. So I'm just gonna hand tear this one down. So yeah, I've been using that, but that also means I have to bring the phone everywhere I go if I want my steps tracked. So I've thought about getting the watch, but I really do not like having things on my wrists anymore. I used to wear jewelry on my wrists all the time, and they're kind of bulky, those watches. So I'm still just going with the phone, even though I know it's not tracking all of my steps. I do take it when I go on the treadmill or when I go for a walk. So I do get some. And I'm just kind of trying out different papers with different shades. And as I've said before, I have a lot of different coffee and tea dyed papers, and those having the variety of all the different types and not using a certain recipe and making them all the same, I think really adds to the complexity and visual interest of the Scrappy Notepads because of that variety. So I just love having, you know, so many different pieces to choose from. And I also love when they get these torn edges, the rips that occur naturally, you know, when I'm in the process of dyeing things. I just love that. So now, make sure you can see that. So here I have a case where I want this to be a little shorter, but I don't want to rip this off because I really like this edge. So then I'm going to pull it out and take some from the top. And just, if you size it and you see how much you want left, that will help you to know how much to take off. And in this case, it's really not much at all. It's just this little strip. So clip that off, tuck it under. And really what I'm looking for is just a variety of paper and shapes and color and grunginess, and I'm going to probably pull in something else as well. As you can see for this first one, I actually put in a digital print here. Put a piece here and a piece here, which is really pretty. This is from Bontik Vintage Designs on Etsy, and I did double side that. But I think it looks nice with these colors. I love the shading on this one. That came out just beautiful. So grungy in the back. And then I also added in some French ephemera printed out in coffee dye. This one even has some numbers handwritten on the back, which is pretty cool. So let me pull that out. I have a file with my faux French docs. Here it is. Let's take a look and see what we have in here. So maybe I could put one of these in. Oh, I like this one. Let's see if I can get that to fit. This one needs to. Now, if I'm working along and I want them to stay put, I just put one of those clips on there, and I'm just going to be tearing this so it has a jagged edge. Looks a little more shabby chic. And I think it's really nice when you can mix and match. So some are straight, some are torn. Now, this one, a lot of this is auditioning to see what I want where. I could put something like that in near the top. That's pretty. And then just, you know, tear it down. And then I think maybe I'll try to add this in here. So, and I do a lot of flipping over. So when you turn it over, you can kind of judge the size a little better. And I'm just going to see how this would be. Now, I'm going to try to tear this around the ballerina. So I'm just holding it up to see where I would need to tear. And so we can see her. Okay, so I'm around her. This might be too dramatic, but let's try it. Oh, I kind of like that. You still see quite a bit of this, which is nice. I think that's beautiful. Has a coffee dyed patina. And then over here, I think I'm going to go ahead and tear these down. So if you flip it over, you can see how much is out there. And it doesn't have to be exact because these are Scrappy Notepads. So they can be a bit more shabby chic, scrappy in nature, and overhang. And I think that's part of their charm. So let's see how we're doing there. Oh, that's great. And maybe I could put one of the I want a little bit of a longer one there. So I'm just trying these out in some different spots, and even just a little bit peeking through gives it that little extra dimension. So I'm liking that. And I have a couple more pieces here. We could add in maybe one under there. Oh, I just had a great idea. I think I'm going to put a stamp right there. I have the Sam Pool stamps, and I think that would be a perfect spot to put one. And here, I think I'll put a little piece up here because I really like this color. And I'm going to flip that around to make it a little more jaggedy raggedy. Okay. And that one is good with the number of papers. I feel like I could put something else in here. So it has 7. Oh, see, now that one wasn't all the way pushed up. Might want that just a tiny bit shorter. That's how much I'm taking off, just a tiny bit. I did want this part showing, and it's going to be in front of that. Okay, there. Let's see if I could find something for here. Another one of my paper strips. And then you can see there's the lighter ones, the darker ones in between. I might want to put this right underneath here. I think that would look good. So I'm just going to have that come down. It's going to be a very narrow piece. So let me just go ahead and tear that one off. Awesome. I'll just tear this a little bit at an angle. I'll have to tear it this way. And I'm going to put one more behind. I think I want a slightly narrower one. I'm going to put it right in there. Just going to snip that off. So another outing I had this week, since I'm off, went with my daughter to a new thrift shop I haven't ever been to before. So that was really fun. Anytime you find a new one, it's very interesting to see what they have. So I did pick up some beautiful linens that I'm in the process of washing, and I'll be tearing those and coffee dyeing and avocado dyeing, and have some more things available soon. I've just been having the best time, having a little more time this week to do all these fun activities. So that's been great. I also found some beautiful vintage paper, and I'll be hand dyeing that as well and adding that to my shop. So lots of fun. Oh, and the other thing I did that was pretty interesting. Yesterday I did a podcast with Sally from Montana, and we met on this. Well, she reached out to me asking if I would be interested, and it sounded fun. I've been listening to some podcasts lately, so I said, sure, why not? And so I really enjoyed doing that, and I'll be updating you guys with the time and date and everything of when mine will air, so you can see that. But that was really fun, and I was glad to be able to have a little more time this week to get all these extra things in with the journaling community, and that's just been really, really fun. Let's decorate these now. So this is some really cool lace that I did have a reveal recently from Gisela at Lavish Laces, where I purchased some beautiful vintage French lace from her shop. And I'm also still using some of the previously purchased lace that I got from Greek Chick, a paper hoarder, from her Instagram sales. And so it's just been so nice. I also just placed an order with Sarah at Petite Papier, and so I'm going to be looking forward to getting that order in. And that was actually one of the questions on the podcast, is where do I get my French ephemera? And, you know, if you watch my channel, I do a lot of French ephemera shares. I also purchased from Moricita on Instagram. And so I have quite a few different sources. I'm trying to cut back a little bit on what I'm buying, just because I have a really good assortment by now, and I am trying to challenge myself to use more of my French ephemera. So that's been my goal as of late. I don't think I got that exactly, but let's just see. I think that would look nice right tucked in there. And the other thing I do like to put at the top is a little piece of book page. And usually I put French book page on there, but since these are a dancing theme, I was going to see if I had some dancing book pages that I could pull a little word or two from. Here's one, Dance at the Royal Courts. Beaujolais on the Ballet Comique. That looks really pretty. I'm gonna see if I can tear that out and put that at the top of one of these Scrappy Notepads. I have quite a collection of vintage dance books about the history of dance, just because I love dance so much. Here's one of them, the Ballet Annual. And this is, oh, you can see I bought that from McKay Books. So I got the price tag still on it. And this one too, Principal Role by Lorna Hill, a Wells book. That's all I have sitting right here at my desk, but I have a bookshelf of a bunch more. Neither one of those is where I got this one from, so I just think this would look so nice up here. I'm gonna put that right there. So I may not be able to use that lace, but I might just cut it down. Let me just see how I'm doing there. I think I'll just tear this out. Just this title is really pretty. And I like that it's in a larger font so you can really see it. And I like that it's a French word. I think this one is too, so that's very cool. Maybe I could even put this behind it. Or let it peek out the bottom, one of the two. So we have that nice lace right underneath it. Ooh, that looks nice. Okay, so I think I'll do something like that. Get my little clip, and I'll take it to the sewing machine. I always sew across the top, and I usually like to go down, back, and down so that I have messy threads on both sides of the Scrappy Notepad. And then we'll do something like that here. And this just needs a little something more. I have this coffee dyed lace. I can cut a piece off of this. And we could layer that behind or on top of this pretty paper. Ooh, that looks great. I am not going to throw that away. I'm going to put it in the cluster pile. Okay. So, oh, these are cute. So I have these vintage, what was it? A vintage children's dictionary. And so I tore out this little piece, dance, to glide, step, or move through a series of movements, usually in time to music. I think that's so pretty, and I like the damsel is right on top of it. So, I mean, if I didn't have so many words there, I might put it there, but I'm going to look for a spot somewhere in my ballerina journal to put that one. I think that's a lot of fun. So I think I will pause there and go and sew these and then show you how they came out. So here I am back with the finished product. I just went ahead and sewed across the top for each of the Scrappy Notepads. So as you can see, I do have the threads hanging down on either side, which I think looks so nice. And then I went ahead and put on the top some coffee dyed vintage lace as the first layer. Then I have this pretty piece of Bontik Vintage Designs, which is the same as one that's down here. It's just a torn piece off of that. And on top of that, just a little tiny fragment of lace. And I did a machine stitch across the top. And basically that's all we did to finish this one. Since I had prepared this one ahead of time using one of these lovely silhouettes and the words Prima Ballerina. And again, the Bontik Vintage Designs print and these gorgeously grungy dyed papers. So that's this one. You can see the messy stitching on the back. Make sure that you can see that. Good. All right. And then the middle one, this is where I went ahead and inked the words that I pulled out of the vintage book on dance and have it sewn around there with some threads on either side and some of that beautiful vintage French lace underneath. So that's the one that we made together. It has some lace, coffee dyed papers, a French image that has been coffee dyed, this beautiful ballerina silhouette, hand torn, and a couple more grungy pieces. And here's the back of this one. Love the messy stitching. And this third one, I also I added a piece of music sheet behind the lace and trimmed it down a bit and inked around the edges. So there's this with a bit of the messy stitching shabby look. And I also added one of the Sampool date stamps. I thought that looked great there. So again, here's the variety of shabby grungy papers. This was an authentic music book page, and this was the coffee dyed French image, one of the faux French documents, and Prima Ballerina, and the messy stitching on the back. So there we have it, the ballerina themed scrappy notepads. Hope you enjoyed today's video, and until next time, bye-bye.